Hey, welcome back. And welcome back to what? Well, this is the NBDRA's round 3 for our hare scramble series. We're running this course at Penobsquis once again, but it's not the same course. We are actually going to run the course backwards, and they cut in some new sections. And I like to say I was part of that, but I wasn't able to get down to put in any volunteer time, so I usually like to do that for two reasons. One, give back to the association and the volunteers that run the board and all the volunteers that run our timing and scoring and all the regular folks that come out to cut trail and maintain the track. I really like to help them out, and the only way I can do that today is to say, well done job. This course was awesome. Loved all of it. So, about to dive in. Unfortunately, I can't show you an entire lap because the GoPro let me down. That's twice now, which is pretty much telling me it's time to get a new GoPro. And I did say there were two reasons. The second reason is if you volunteer time, you're going to get to see the course, which gets you a little bit more prepared. As it was here, I thought I was going to get the whole shot, but I didn't want to try and punch between Dean, who did get the whole shot, and Jody, who's in front of me now. I thought they were going to basically close the door, or I'd get through and I'd end up in the woods because I would not have made that corner. Anyway, not a bad start. Number 3 off the line. As per, I'm not going to be able to hold that. I come out of the gates a little too fast, my forearms burn up, and then I start slowing down, and then I pick up my pace somewhere around mid-second lap. And for this race, the tires are back. There are actually 3 tire obstacles. That one, another one that was just behind that going in the opposite direction as you finish your lap, which was much bigger. And I did a little bit of hand wringing and bunched up my, I won't say my panties, I wasn't wearing panties. It's just for all you guys that can hold that vision now. About that one, because if you fell off, you were falling more than 6 feet, and there was no chicken line. That said, in retrospect, as I thought about it, it wasn't that tough of an obstacle as long as you just rode up and over it. And then there was the third set of tires, which were lower set, kind of like that one that I just went over. But just past that was this log obstacle. And if you didn't know it was there and you jumped the tires because you could, you would have run smack into the logs, which would be bad. So a little more signage there, although, you know what, the first guy that went over the bars figured it out pretty quick. So because of the failing of the GoPro, what are you going to see? Well, you're going to see the first 11 or so minutes of this race, raw and uncut, which isn't too terrible. It actually is not terrible for me because it's showing me in third place for most of it until I'm not. And then it doesn't show me actually really sucking in the woods until I don't. That comes much later, but there is about a lap of suck for me as I take that time to warm up. What you're going to see right now, though, is, well, there's Jody got in front of Dean, and I'm going to get in front of Dean here shortly, but so are the Fast 3. And who are the Fast 3? Well, that would be Dave Beaver, J.D. Patterson, and Trevor Seidman. They're going to come steamrolling by us. I'm going to try and hang with them for a little bit, but I just can't because my forearms burn out because I came out of the gates too fast, as per. Oh, that must be a fan of Team Struggle Bunny just waving me on. So in just a second here, Dean and I are going to haul over and let the Fast 3 go by, and I'm going to pull out and try and keep up with them, and like I said, I can't. Would be nice if I could, maybe next time. So old JD's pretty happy. He's back on his Cowie. The Cowie had some small issues, completely rectified now, and he looks a lot more comfortable on that bike than he did on the last bike he was on, which was actually his wife's bike, and he raced it at Crab Mountain. He and I traded spots on Crab Mountain quite a bit, but somewhere towards the end there, he just turned and burned, and I didn't see him again in that last lap. And speaking of being comfortable on the bike, I've got this one dialed in. This is my new bike, and I've been playing with the suspension, just learning a little bit as I go and making some bold adjustments and then kind of coming back from them. Right now, I would say the front end is set perfect for this terrain. It works super well. The back end, I just need to slow the rebound down 1 or 2 clicks for that really fast section that you saw at the beginning of the race when you're going down the fence line and it's whooped out. Unfortunately for me, that means I don't have any excuses. I can't say things like the suspension wasn't quite dialed in or the tires weren't quite round enough. It's just coming down to me. So now I've got to work on me. This is the stuff that catches me out in the first lap because I'm not warmed up to riding in the woods. The roots throw me off. I think the front end's going to slide along one and I'm going to go down, or I'm going to bounce off one and bounce into a tree. And maybe that's what needs to happen just to get it over with, to get past that mental block, to twist the throttle a bit more and just go faster. And I suppose on that note, what I need to do is borrow someone else's bike before I hit a tree. And further to that note, as an addendum, I did lend Ewan a bolt on his last race, so I feel like he owes me. Ewan, cough up your bike, man. I don't intend to hit a tree anytime soon, but I'm open to it if it happens. If that means I'm going faster and I learn some lessons, even if they're hardwood lessons. And I improved my position by 1. I think that was Trevor, so I don't think I'm going to improve my position for very long, because if it is him, he's just going to get by me later on. And not so far after this video ends, a number of people do go by me. It would be the guys that are the fast guys from the Intermediate B, and maybe a couple from my own class. And on that note, the Intermediate Bs is where Hugo races. Hugo was racing junior the year prior and Intermediate B this year, and he did get by me, and he stayed by me. I was trying to reel him in, and I was closing distance on some parts, but he was riding a more consistent race, and specifically, he was riding better in the tight wood section, and he legit beat me. Which, to beat me isn't necessarily a big deal. I'm a middle of the pack guy when I was riding Intermediate A, and I'm a middle of the pack guy with the smaller plus 40 group. But I'm not going to take anything away from Hugo. I'm not really getting any slower. Hugo is getting faster. And speaking of people that are getting faster, we got Chris. Chris is also getting faster. He and I had a pretty good battle going here until he missed on one of the tires and I got by him. And if my camera had been running, you would have heard me have a commentary about the spirit of competition and how I really owed it to Chris to stay in front of him. Which suits my own needs as well to be out front, but in reality it's a true statement. That sense of competition, that little bit of push when you're having a bit of a battle with somebody is something that you owe yourself, so you can come off the track or the field of battle, if you will, having left nothing on the table. And that the other person that is trying to compete against you in that friendly competition has gotten everything that you had to give. And there's a funny thing here, though it is beer league racing, spirit of competition, and just for fun, all that kind of stuff. When you're in it, you can get fired up. And normally I don't, because I'm racing against myself and I'm kind of giggling in my helmet. I think I'm old enough now to not take myself too seriously. But I'm also in the infantry by trade, and so that means I have an ability to flick a switch and close with and destroy, which is the infantry's job. Close with and destroy the enemy by day or by night in all kinds of terrains and conditions. So when someone came up behind me during a very tight section and revved bomb me. And several times I was proceeding at best pace because there was nowhere for me to go to let them by, not for a little bit anyway. I did get quite fired up in my helmet and probably shouted in my helmet, and they may have heard it, I don't know, but I checked myself and immediately found a spot to let them by so they could proceed with their race. They were going faster than me, and that's what you do. You pull over and let the fast guys by. Okay, this video is going to end shortly just because the GoPro sucks. I want to comment about that turn and whoever that was in front of me. That was super well executed, and I wish I could do the same every time. There I just signaled to, I think, let Dean by, but maybe it wasn't. Whoever it was did not want what I was offering, and so I just kept going. This video is going to wrap itself up shortly because the GoPro shuts down, and I'm hoping it's not the GoPro. I hope it's the SD card, because I did have some issues with one of my cards. But anyway, I will have it resolved before the next race, be it a new GoPro or new SD card, and come back to give you a full lap of that race, which is going to happen in Hartsville, Prince Edward Island. Hope to see you then.